Weighting yourself correctly for freediving. The amount of weight you need to wear when freediving depends on a number of factors: your weight, your body size and composition, the thickness of your suit, whether you are diving in salt or fresh water, the depths you will dive. Every situation will need a different approach. We'll look now at weighting for different disciplines and what to consider when setting up your own weighting system. Static apnea. No weight used. The body must easily float at the surface at all times. Dynamic apnea with fins. This weighting system depends a lot on where you carry your buoyancy. Generally speaking, women carry more positive buoyancy in their bottoms, and so benefit from wearing a weight belt. And men carry more positive buoyancy in their heads, so benefit from wearing a neck weight. What you want to achieve with your weighting is to be able to move your fins and then glide without floating to the surface or sinking to the bottom of the pool. This can take a long time experimenting to get right and will differ if you change equipment or body composition. Dynamic apnea without fins. The same principles apply to dynamic without fins as with fins, although it is harder to get right. With fins, you have the ability to easily correct your position in the water. With no fins, you do not have the same control or propulsion, and so even the tiniest adjustment in weight can make a difference. Constant weight freediving with fins. For safety, you should be neutrally buoyant at a depth between 10 and 12 meters when performing any dive deeper than 15 meters. The biggest risk of shallow water blackout is within the top 10 meters, so it is imperative that you are positively buoyant from this depth. When people start learning to freedive, they want to wear more weight, as it means that they get under the water more easily. Bad technique is no excuse for overweighting. An effort should be made to master a correct duck dive with the right amount of buoyancy for safety. Constant weight freediving without fins. The same principles apply to constant weight freediving without fins as do with fins, although the tendency can be to wear more weight as the initial descent is so challenging. Again, from a safety and psychological perspective, it is better to wear less weight so that the ascent is easier, especially when your limbs are burning from lactic acid buildup and you're running low on oxygen. Recreational freediving. If you are diving on a shallow reef, then you will need to adjust your weight so that you are slightly more heavily weighted while still remaining positively buoyant on the surface. It can be very frustrating to be neutrally buoyant at 10 meters if the sea floor is only 4 meters, and the moment you fin down, you start to bob up again. When shallow diving, you should aim to be neutrally buoyant a little shallower than the sea bottom to avoid crashing into the floor and damaging anything. Free immersion freediving. Similar to the constant weight freediving, you want to be neutral from at least 10 meters. If you are only using free immersion techniques to practice equalization to shallow depths, then it can be more comfortable to increase your weight so you are not struggling to keep yourself at 3 meters. In addition, if you are practicing equalization feet first, you might want to consider wearing ankle weights to help with streamlining, enabling you to focus on learning equalization rather than keeping your legs from floating up behind you. Variable weight freediving. You need no physical power to get you to the depth and can benefit from a lower point of neutral buoyancy to help your ascent. Therefore, no weight is worn, except maybe a weight belt with no weight to help seal your suit. Often a thicker suit is worn to aid positive buoyancy and help with the cold at depth. No limits freediving. As with variable weight freediving, you have the weighted sled to take you to depth, so do not need to wear weight on your body. On the ascent, the buoyancy device or lift bag will take you back to the surface, so a suit should be chosen that keeps you warm at depth and provides an extra bit of buoyancy on the ascent if the sled were to fail. When choosing where to set your neutral buoyancy, you should also consider your buddy, their freediving ability, and their confidence in potentially rescuing you. As your weighting will vary depending on many different factors, it is imperative to keep a record in your freediving logbook of what weight you wore under which conditions, along with what other freediving equipment you used. It is also useful to take with you an extra half-kilo weight for your belt and neck weights of varying weight so you can be more precise when fine-tuning your weight setup. What is most important, though, is that you choose a weighting setup that you and your buddy are comfortable with, and it always prioritizes safety.